So this week we're past Covey now. A lot of the videos we're going to watch in class and you'll be watching on your own will be by a presenter named Zig Ziglar. I think you already saw him in at least one video. He has a southern accent, so probably if you find my accent hard to understand, you'll find his even harder. But we'll turn on the closed captions, and hopefully you can understand it okay. We'll have some other videos as well, but a lot of them will be about goal setting. And well, as I put up here, thought I changed that. I guess I changed it in the next slide. In the next slide, I put something slightly different. Goals, persistence, and the eighth habit. Over here, I guess. What was the eighth habit? You remember what the eighth habit was? Passion. Be passionate about what you do. That's the eighth habit. So that's not in the book of 7 habits, but I mentioned I believe in the last class that he wrote a book. Well, he wrote first off the book about the third alternative, third option, whatever he calls it, and then he wrote another book. I think his last book was the eighth habit, which is basically pursue your passion. People with passion have more energy, more intensity, more commitment. And so one thing to do to succeed in life is to have passion about what you're doing. Okay, so actually I'm just going to, actually my PowerPoint has very little on it. We're going to go to the different videos, and I'm going to kind of introduce a video and then stop my recording. Because if I include a video, the entire video, they will then not let me put it on YouTube. So I can't do that. Because of the difficulty of showing videos, turning off this recording program, showing a video, coming back, turning it back on again, commenting on it, going back, showing another video, it's technologically complicated. So I ended up not doing that. You just need to watch these videos on your own. However, I will give some emphasis to the videos about goal setting by Dr. Ziglar. And I do this out of class, but I made most of the same sort of comments in class. So particularly, again, as he talks about goal setting, he goes over a series of things you need to do in order to actually achieve a goal. At least these are his recommendations, and his in the videos he talks about the difficulty of achieving goals and how people procrastinate and come up with excuses and just never get them done. Including things that he had, goals he had set and failed to complete in a timely manner. So these are the specific things that he suggests in order to actually accomplish a goal. To write down your goal with as many specifics as possible. Know and be able to envision exactly what you want to accomplish. Give yourself a deadline. I added my own words, perhaps a step-by-step timeline. Frequently, I've talked previously in class about the idea of setting up stepping stone goals. So you have stepping stone goals that lead to a major goal. So that's really what I'm kind of suggesting here with the timeline is don't just set up your goals, set up your stepping stone goals. Telephone interruption there. Anyway, so again, give yourself a deadline, and I would suggest include the stepping stone goals along with the final deadline for your goal. List the obstacles you need to overcome. It's only realistic
to understand not only the benefits, but the obstacles. And indeed, then how do you plan to overcome the obstacles if you don't know what they are, if you don't think about them? And that relates, I think, to the next item here: identify the people, groups, and organizations you need to work with. Now, Tony Robbins, as I mentioned recently, notes that most enterprises fail for lack of resources, but suggests that lack of resources can be overcome by resourcefulness. This may be part of what Zig is suggesting here. There are other people, groups, and organizations who can help you. I'm not sure he talks about it in these videos, but when he talks about writing his book, it was helpful that he set up a time schedule for other people to review what he was writing. And so he not only set up, again, these stepping stone goals, I would say, related to each chapter, perhaps. And then he had people ready to review his chapters as he got done. So that gave him deadlines. This is one thing you can do, I believe, when you're thinking about Dr. Covey's time management matrix. You can convert the second quadrant, the thing that most people fail with, the things that nobody says you have to do, that you can convert those into quadrant 1 items by doing exactly this, by setting up a time schedule and incorporating into it other people. So again, in his case, if you were writing a book, then you can have I've got this, I guess that's not showing, I'm sorry. In my video, I can see something right in the middle of my forehead, but I don't think it actually shows through when the video is actually produced. But anyway, so if you set up a schedule and you have an editor, somebody who's agreed to review and edit your book chapters, now you can give yourself, in giving these deadlines, these stepping stone deadlines to yourself with other people involved, now suddenly you have certain expectations that tends to push this from quadrant 2 to quadrant 1, because now somebody is saying you have to do this. It's your book editor or whoever it is that's working with you. So in identifying people, groups, and organizations you need to work with, think also about how this might work into your time management matrix and push quadrant 2 items over into quadrant 1 items. This also is, so this becomes part of Dr. Covey's habit 3. Here I list 4, 5, and 6, and in the sense that other organizations that you can work with can help create synergy, can help provide those resources, for example. So habit 3 may help you push things from quadrant 2 to quadrant 1, but habits 4, 5, and 6 can help you be resourceful. As Tony Robbins said, be resourceful and find other organizations, other people with resources that you lack. Anticipate by looking at your obstacles, what resources you lack, and find those other people, organizations, or groups that can help you provide those or achieve or provide those resources. Again, that can only be done meaningfully if you already know what obstacles you're going to face, and therefore you can anticipate them and prepare by finding these additional individuals or groups or organizations who can help. You need to spell out your plan of action. So this relates back to your stepping stone timeline. And maybe you can move that down here, but I thought when I was talking about deadlines that it was important to talk about these sub-goals, these stepping stone goals. So it's not just one goal, there's numerous goals. This also obviously falls into the realm of spelling out your plan of action. And then he says to identify all the benefits you will achieve when you achieve your goal. Now, Dr. Covey mentioned in one of his videos that it is best for you to envision achieving your goal with all of your senses if possible. To see it, to hear it, to feel it, to smell it. Make it as real to you as possible. This is the sort of thing that, again, that Tony Robbins would also suggest in his discussing the importance of envisioning. This is the sort of thing he's talking about, is make it real. In some cases, he says that, we were talking about learning how to shoot good free throws in basketball, that you can also envision some of the things you need to do and envision them over and over again so that they become real to you. So it's almost like having done them already. You can do things already in your mind. You could say that you have, going back to Dr. Covey with his second habit, that you have, in creating something spiritually in your mind, or creating something in your mind and in your vision and so forth, you can make it so real in that envisioning that your body, your mind thinks that you're experienced at it, that you've already accomplished it in a sense. Therefore, you have no doubts. That's one of the things, again, Tony Robbins says, you can't doubt it. You have to believe in a deep down that you can do this. And so if you believe deep down that you can do it, then you go into it with more energy, with more faith. You utilize more of your potential. You don't give up so easy. You work harder at it. You achieve more. And when you achieve more, even if it's not everything you want to achieve, when you start seeing the fruit of your efforts, then that gives you greater belief, unlocks greater potential, gives you greater energy to go ahead and be more active, more positive, more committed to the project, to the goal, which then achieves greater accomplishments and gives you greater faith and becomes a cycle of success, according to Tony Robbins. So all of these success strategists, you might say, overlap in what they're thinking. And hopefully, as you listen to these different videos and we talk about what they're suggesting, the different ideas of Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, of Stephen Covey, later on of Clayton Christensen and other people, you can start seeing how all these ideas start fitting together and can help you achieve success. With that, again, I'm not making a big presentation during this class, but this is such an important part of it. I wanted to emphasize this. Watch the videos, understand the importance of it. There are additional videos that do not relate to this topic, which you will watch and take notes on by yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah. And we are from Group 5. Group 5. Yeah. Okay. Today we're going to present you about this topic, reading to learn. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, these are the members. My name is Moses, and this is Xiamen, Angeline, Genjie, Chifentia, Xiamen. Okay. Alright. So before we go any further, you guys do remember the 4 steps of learning cycle? Anyone? No? So it's consists of 4 steps: preparing, absorbing, capturing, and the last one, reviewing. Of course, yeah. So when you get in the habit of paying these four steps of habits, and then it will be relatively easy for you to study. what we are going to do right now, what we are going to present, is to explain how this reading fits into this learning cycle. So what we are going to cover today is the difference between reading in high school and college, active reading, and also the strategy for textbook reading, dealing with special text. The last one is reading can discover new things. Okay. All right. So think back to high school history when it's like think about your history class or your literature class. Those were probably when you have the most reading, right? You will be assigned a chapter or a few pages in a chapter, and then the teacher with the expectation that you will be discussing it in class. So the teacher and so on, the teacher will guide you through a review of your reading assignment, and then he or she, your teacher, will keep asking questions to keep the discussion moving. So usually in the high school, teacher is the key part of how you learn from your reading. But it's really different when you step into the college. You know, you will be expected to read much more than in high school. So like for each hour you spend in lecture, in the lecture time, you will be expected to spend like 2 or more hours studying between the classes. And most of that will be reading. Yeah. And also when you read, probably you're also aware that when you read the college textbook, it's like the authors, they write using many terms, technical terms, and kind of complex ideas. And also they write with, including their research, and also a lot of things that you might never find dry. And how to deal with this? How to be more? How to make your reading be more effective? I have one tip called active reading. Active reading is planned. This activity plan is a deliberate set of strategy to engage with text-based materials with the purpose to increase your understanding. But to do this, when I say it is planned, means it comes from inside of you first. So it takes a personal responsibility for understanding what you read. Yeah, so the teacher, the lecturer, they usually not spend much time review your reading assignment. Rather they tend to expect you guys to understand first before you come into class. That's why active reading is so important. So, but explanation of the active reading will be explained by my friend Xiamen.
So, my name is Xiamen and I'm going to talk about active reading. So first, I will be talking about the definition of active reading, and secondly, why actively read, and third, goals of active reading, last strategies of active reading. So active reading is a process or technique that we actively engaging with the text that we are reading. So Moses is an active reading person and Xiamen is an passive reading person. So when a person is actively reading, it's more effectively compared to a person that reads passively. Why actively read? Because so now we can see that Moses is actively reading now, so Xiamen is passively reading. So we can see that Moses read more efficiently and save time rather than playing phone and read passively with the books that he's reading. So, secondly, it prepares us for exams. So the teacher are giving them their results, and you can see that Moses got 100 and Xiamen got 60 only for this exam. A person that actively read, he remember everything that he read, not everything, but mostly, compared to a passively reading person. So, we have to stay informed about a subject or have their interests and develop exposure to new ideas or have familiar concepts reinforced and create a deeper understanding of life complexities and lastly achieve intellectual growth in our mental mind. So goals of active reading. We capture main ideas, key concepts, and details of reading. We target, reduce, and distill the needed information from the text. And lastly, we engage with text by asking questions that help us think deeper about the content that we read. So that sometimes we will be questioning about whether it's the fact of what we are reading or it's someone's opinion. So, strategies of reading, actively reading.
What do you get? 100. I thought we study together.
Yeah,
We study same time.
yeah. How much you get? Hey, you. Okay, so Xiamen, the strategies of active reading. So it starts by previewing the text. Firstly, we scan the title, subtitle, footnotes, pictures, and headings in the text. Secondly, we think about what you know about the topic. Look for information about the author so that you can know about his background or what he's going to write about the books. And lastly, think about the rhetorical situation. And secondly, read the text carefully and write ideas about the text. Circle and look up for the definitions that we don't understand so that we can be more understanding of what we are reading. And underline thesis or main ideas so that when we have to read the books, we can find out where is the main ideas. And ask questions about the text and make connections. And we read the text. For these strategies, it is because sometimes when we are reading, there are some part that is difficult. So we will review the passages that are difficult and find shift in points of view or in voice and paraphrase difficult passages by restating the passage in your own words and make a summary so that it's a summary that you can read quicker rather than reading the whole book again. And lastly, try to describe the text to someone who has not read it so that the person can tell you what he thinks about the books, his opinion. And some fun fact, FedEx is the most recognized logo in the world, but most of us don't know why. Because there's a visual effect between E and X is an arrow, so that it means that the speed and accuracy of FedEx services. So now Angelina will be talking about.
Strategies for textbook reading. These are strategies that can help you enhance your reading even better. The first one is pace yourself. Figure out how much time you have to do your assignments and small blocks. The second one is schedule your reading. Set aside blocks of time to do your reading, preferably at the time of the day when you are the most alert. The third one is get yourself in the right space. You have to read in a place that is well lit and also quiet. Your chair should be comfortable but still give you some good support. Don't read in your bed because it will make you sleepy. The fourth one is avoid distractions. Active reading takes place in your short-term memory, and every time you move from task to task, your short-term memory will have to reboot. So listening to music or multitasking or texting while you're reading will force you to start all over again, and it will be a waste of time. The fifth one is avoid reading fatigue. After every 50 minutes, you should give yourself a break for 5 or 10 minutes, put your book down, walk around, get a snack, or do some stretches, anything that will make you feel refreshed. Next one is read your most difficult assignments early when you are most rushed. And the last one is make your reading interesting. Try to connect the material you are reading with the lectures in your class or other chapters. Ask yourself, do you agree with the author? Find answers to your question like investigative reporter, and carry a mental conversation with the author in your head. The point is, pace yourself and read in a quiet room with minimal distractions.
Good evening. My name is Xiamen. So there are many different types of text in reading. Dealing with different texts requires specific technique. For example, mathematics text. Do you ever feel like maths? No. Yeah. Mathematics is complicated, but it's interesting at the same time. So how can we read mathematics text efficiently? There are some important steps in reading mathematics text. The first step is do not skip. This is because learning builds upon prior knowledge, and skipping might let you miss out important information. For example, let's look at the formula of trigonometry. If you do not understand the word, we can not understand the formula. So read step by step. If you do not read every word, we might let out important details and apply the formula inappropriately. For example, applying this formula to non-right-angle triangle will lead to wrong solution. So save the time of cracking your head for the confusion. Read every text word by word at least one time. Yes, it's boring, but still we have to learn. Next, the next step. Read through the formula. Make sure you understand the factor, as understanding helps us to remember. Let's see the formula. Most of us will just try to memorize the formula, right? Actually, there's better way to remember it, that is understanding, so that the knowledge will retain in our mind for a longer period of time and more vividly. If you have diagram, we can understand the formula better. Next, work through the formula. Substitute actual number to make the formula more familiar to you. Next, make the formula real. For example, trigonometry can be used to measure the height of building with the angle of elevation and of one side. Compass pinpoint the position. Marine engineering uses trigonometry to build and navigate marine vessels. Trigonometry also applicable in video games such as Mario to predict the jump over obstacles. The last step in reading mathematics is seek help. Ask questions to your lecturer during office hours, and sometimes mathematics language can be difficult and hardly understand. Now I would like to introduce some common uses of graphics in textbook. The knowledge of graphics can help us develop the critical analysis skill. The common use of graphics include table of data, typically used to present raw data. Next, bar chart, compare the data. Line chart, show the trend of data. Pie chart, demonstrate the proportion of different elements. Next, show the geographic distribution. Photographs, typically used to represent a situation, person, or objection. Next, illustration, show the detail of items. And lastly, flow chart, show the flow of progress. Do not skip this graphic because as it contains a lot of information. When reading graphic, we must always analyze it. Next, scientific text. For example, physics, bio, and chemistry. The knowledge of science mainly came from experiment process. We can read this kind of text by writing down the proof inside the notes. When reading science, we must always have curiosity to think. Think about whether the experiment and observation are repeatable. Then think about why. Why this kind of result happened? What trends will affect it? then think about how can we trace the design and method of observation. Lastly, what conclusion can we reach? Can we interpret it differently? So guys, follow this step and you can score 4.0.
Oh, you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Okay, get 4.0. Okay, good afternoon everyone. My name is Felicia and I'm going to continue about the special facts that is discussed by Yanjie just now about different one. So today I'm going to cover 3 texts, which is the first one, social science text. So what is social science? Social science is actually one of our academic disciplines, means that we can find it in our high school life and even now. So this can be included in some of the example that we can find it easily now. First one is history. Then, second one, you can find it in linguistics. Third one, you can find it also economics, political science, and so on. Okay, so next. So you can see these 4 subjects just now, they share the same characteristics, which is the first one. It requires us to read primary source documents. What does it mean by this? Because whenever you want to read history, there are some basic terms that we need to understand first before we understand what the author are saying. So in this case, if you read the primary documents such as documents, newspapers, lab reports, something like that, it can give you a better understanding what the authors are saying. And then next, okay, it involves author interpretation point of view. And then the third point, it also we need to understand the author's during the books. So whenever we buy the books, there's always a table of contents in front to let us see how the books flow. This is actually allow us to understand how the authors want us to go through chapter by chapter and then take us more information towards the book. So most importantly for this book, it is very important whether we need to identify whether this is consistent with what we are learning. Because sometimes even the book has the same topic, it doesn't go as what we wanted. So it is important. Okay, for the second one, we can see next is the foreign language text. So and whenever we want to read a book or sentence that we unfamiliar with, and it's not in our mother tongue, we can classify it into a foreign language text. And we can give you some tips to conquer about it. So the first one is we can seek for familiar phrase structure. Sometimes whenever a sentence that is not in our language, we can find it the meaning by seeing the familiar phrase or structure or word that is similar to your mother tongue. For example, I'm going to demonstrate you. As you can see, I have a word here. Do you know what word is this? It's not English, but similar to English. So this is actually a word. So this is actually a word for blue. It's almost the same structure as blue, but it's blue in French. So this is an example for the foreign text. You can seek for a similar word, something like this, and you can guess the meaning. Maybe it's blue, but sometimes maybe it's not correct. Sometimes it's correct, but at least you try, and then you can get the meaning. Okay. So next one is you can look for longer words. Longer words sometimes in the sentence can represent noun and verb, which means that if you can guess that meaning, you can also guess the meaning of the sentence quicker. And then next, and the last one, don't rely on dictionaries solely, because nowadays even though Google Translate help us a lot, but whenever you give directly one sentence of a foreign language to the Google Translate, sometimes it can give you more confusing meaning and doesn't give you any solution. So the key point for foreign language test is to practice, practice, and practice. You need to practice in order to master a foreign language, and there's no other way. Okay, so the last one that I'm going to talk, last but not least, is the online text. Whenever you want to find a source that we cannot find for homework, for example, we want to do homework assignments, and we cannot find the source on book, then what we need to do? We're going to search online. And the problem is when we search online, there's going to be numerous online that can provide you the same topic, and you don't know what to choose. So this, I'm going to give you 5 steps to help us understand the story in online materials. So the first one, you can see we can look at the URL of the website address. For example, for a website where there's a address in front, for example, .edu usually will represent that the website will be educational purposes. And then second, .org usually will represent non-advertising website. So this kind of URL, you can see it before you click the website and can give you a direction towards what the website will talk about. And then next one is you can look at the page parameter and the masthead. It's actually it gives you the theories and the view behind the online text. And this one can link to the author, whether this author of this website, you can trust him or her, whether the information is valid or not. And then you can also check the quality of the information. Then next, consider what others are saying about the site. So whenever there's a website, there's always a comment section below the website, and you can see other comments on that website, whether the information is valid and how they think this author writings is okay or not. And then last but not least, trust your impression about the material, because the most important thing is the one that seek for information is you, and you are the one that know what you want. And then being critical, the last but not least, being critical is always important, because sometimes in online there's a lot of information that can get you confused, and being critical towards it is, for me, is the fundamental thing, and not just copy and paste the information. Okay, that's all for me. I'm going to pass it to Ben to explain about vocabulary.
So vocabulary, everyone know about the vocab, right? So without it, we cannot learn anything and read anything in the book content, and also in the magazine, also during a conversation. So is there any way to improve our vocabulary? My answer is yes. So we can improve our vocabulary by reading. Reading can build our own words and our own vocabulary. So besides that, reading books, we also can reading some reading sources like magazine, newspaper, and also online newspaper. We can reading all of these to gain the new vocabulary. So let us discover the importance of building vocabulary. First, learn new words. If we read something like we don't know, I read an astronomy book, I learn a Pluto. In the same time, I will figure it out. What is a Pluto is? A Pluto is it's a planet in the galaxy, and in the same time, I will see beside the national book will show some other planets like Mars, Earth also. The second one, enhance our understanding in a conversation. So in a conversation, we will not understand toward the words, what are they saying, and also and that's what teacher talking about in the lecture class also. And the third one, make our reading more easier. So if we know vocab, we can play well in a Scrabble game and also in a puzzle game. We'll get a priority in winning a game also. So the next one. So let us see the comparison who know more vocabulary. If we know more, it will increase our interest in reading. So if we know more, we can improve ourselves and get more confident to read more and learn more words. But besides that, if we don't know all the vocab that we learn, so it will reduce our interest in reading. We will maintain in the same level and not improve ourselves. And the next one. So if we don't like reading books and magazine, newspaper, have other sources to improve our vocab like Netflix movie or YouTube video. So while we watching the video, we will read the subtitle. And then if we don't understand the subtitle meaning, we will discover the meaning also. And then we will figure it out what the meaning about. The next one. Kids can help us that gain more words correctly and effectively. The first one, look up for new words. So if we know a new word, keep not only looking at this word and looking some word that same meaning of this word, so we can understand the meaning of the words as well. The second one, write the words in a sentence, ideally one that relevant to you. So if we know the new words, we can make a sentence related to ours in the daily life, so we can get more image in our mind. The third one, look up the word in a dictionary. So some word has different meaning, like a nail, like for example, the word nail. So Joanna, can you show me your nail? Nail? Yeah, your nail. Give me this. No, I want this nail. You get the meaning?
You guys got the meaning or not?
No.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
So the nail, this also called nail, and also this also called nail. So our word has the same meaning in the same word. So the fourth one, use the word. If we know the word, keep using in our daily life. And the last one, say the word loudly. So keep saying the words in our daily life and say it loudly. Confident to say the new words loudly. So that's all for my tips. So I will pass up to Moss to make the ending.
Okay. We'll get down to the conclusion. So guys, yeah, since you're already in college, I believe that you already know what is the importance of reading. And here, yeah, we already give like the tips from us that may be useful for you guys, such as we cover like the scientific one, also like mathematics, all the special texts, and also how to read the textbook reading. And the last one is to enhance your vocabulary. Okay, and then next, yeah, this is I have one quote. When you read, you open your mind and allow it to absorb everything you read. After you finish, it will close and stay. What does it mean? It means that this is also a constant part in the way that you read. Because when you read, you try to understand all that things. After that, after you end, it will stay. So I want to say that when you read a book, that it will form a thought, and it is often become the basis of our judgment, like our perspective towards this topic. We read from this book, topic A. But when we only stop reading that only book A, even though there's a book B, book C, a book D, and a lot of things, our knowledge, our judgments will only limit it to that certain book A, and we cannot expand ourselves. That's why don't stop reading in order to enhance your capacity and be a great student and great person. So that's all for us. Thank you.
Okay, as I said, I wanted to make just a couple of quick comments. This is probably one of the better presentations we've had, and so I want you to recognize the good things they did, but I still don't understand why people just aren't remembering that they're supposed to add questions at the end, multiple choice questions, and almost every group is forgetting that. So you're supposed to add like at least 3 or 4 questions to kind of review with students. That's the very last thing on the critique sheet that everybody seems to not be reading. Beyond that, also be sure that you're ready to go. You either need to have already emailed me your PowerPoint, or bring it on a thumb drive and have it ready to go and be up here ready to go so we can get started. We didn't get started until almost 25 minutes after on this clock. This clock is fast, it's fast. So it was probably more like 20 after or something. But that was partly because they didn't have the thumb drive. We had to email it to me and stuff like that. And also the other thing is in their enthusiasm, which is commendable, and they try to do things that were beyond just the PowerPoint, and that's commendable. At the same time, we had to reorganize a lot of stuff because it's not usual. So it's unusual, it's good, but at the same time, I needed maybe a little bit of heads up. This trying to record it and everything gets a little complicated, and there are restraints, like I didn't know what they wanted to do exactly, and I have a very short cord here for connecting my computer to the projector, and so I can only do so much. Also, you need to be, the microphone, this microphone, first off, doesn't do a lot of good like this, which I was doing. You have to point your head right towards it. But this is only for the class. This has nothing to do with my computer. And so the computer microphone is also directional. You stand here and probably okay back here, over here, not okay. It's a very directional microphone on the computer that university provides me. So if you're going to do something a little different, maybe give me a warning ahead of time, email me or something, so we can get started on time. Because like I say, we were 20 minutes into the class, which then cuts me short on my part of the presentation. So, but their presentation, they had good eye contact, good energy. They didn't use any notes. Most everything they did was very commendable. But they fell a little short in a couple of areas that I have to deduct some points on. So otherwise, it'd probably be everybody in the class. They might still have I'll probably still give them all an A because they did such a good job. Excellent PowerPoint, excellent presentation, so forth, good coverage. But they did fall. They're going to lose some points by just the little things. So don't forget those little things because they do have to be counted. Okay.